Let's bring in Alex Daugherty, who covers the Preds for A to Z Sports. Alex, you think any National Hockey League owners cooking the books like Dan Snyder? You think somebody like up in Saskatchewan or somewhere is cooking the books up there?
Saskatchewan. No comment. I cannot review anything.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, wow.
All right, no comment.
I would doubt it. That seems like a once in a lifetime kind of idiot move to me. I don't know who in the world thinks that that's a good idea.
You know, the one thing about the NHL, and you certainly know it better than I do, but here's one thing I've noticed financially. It seems to be the most physically responsible league by far. Like nobody just ever goes rogue and pays somebody $18 million. They don't do that. It's a league that seems to stay within its limits. Does that make sense? Better than any other to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, the greatest player of all time, Wayne Gretzky, was traded just to pay some debts. So, yeah, they take their money seriously in the NHL. They always have, I guess.
Yeah, they don't mess around when it comes to money. Huge win last night. Stayed 1 point ahead of Dallas. And what was funny, we got to the end of the game, and it took a while for anybody to even figure out who scored the game winner.
Oh, it was kind of chaos. Just a little inside baseball here. I was tasked with coming up with the 3 stars last night. You know, one media member of every night is tasked with doing that. So last night was my night. And I just was like, all right, I'm just going to go with whoever scores the goal, the game-winning goal as the number 1 star, and UC is going to get the second one. And, I mean, I was like, I couldn't figure it out. I said, Joey, no, it's Ekholm. No, it's Johansson. I don't know. You guys figure it out. So I had this. I was confused as anyone. I think that it was Johansson because it went off of the defenseman's skater or defenseman's skate. So, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I guess the main thing is it did go in, and they got a win that they desperately needed. Alex Daugherty, our guest at Alex Daugherty1 on Twitter, A to Z Sports.
Well, Alex, I feel like, or do you feel like, let me say this, that they are pressing too much? I know they're going to have a homestand here to finish up, but to make that push to get in the playoffs, and do you believe that they will?
So, I mean, they have a really, really tough last stretch of the schedule here. I mean, it's in the last 9 games, they play 7 teams that are basically going to make the playoffs. I mean, they got Oilers on Thursday. They're going to have to play the Avalanche. They got to play the Wild a couple times. They've got to play the Dallas Stars again. They've got to. I mean, they have a really tough stretch here. They've only got 2 games against teams that aren't in the playoffs. That will be Chicago this Saturday, and then they play Arizona. I think that considering the fact that they've actually played pretty well against some of the top teams, they played really well against Minnesota. They played well against other top teams. They've come away with some pretty big wins. I think that they've got a really good chance, but they need points everywhere they can get them. Even just getting to overtime last night until they got that second point against the Sharks, that was huge, especially because Dallas won. Vegas lost in overtime, or maybe it was a shootout. I can't remember, but that kept them at bay. I think the last I saw, the Predators still have a 90% or plus chance to make the playoffs. So I think that they're going to be there. And, given the fact that they have all of these career seasons by all these guys, I mean, Filip Forsberg, Matthew Shane pushing for 40 goals, Roman Josi pushing for a 100-point season, Tanner Jeannot doing what he's doing, and all of the physical play that the team brings every night, I think that they'll make it. It would be a pretty massive drop-off here at the end if they didn't make it.
Man, was that percentage that high on re-signing Mr. Forsberg?
Is it 90% plus?
Yeah. Is it 90%? Is it going to be that high or no? What do you think is going to happen after the season's over, whenever that ends? What do you think is going to happen with this whole contractual situation?
I think that they sign him. I don't know at what point it gets to. I don't know if he gets all the way to free agency day and then here's the offers and then re-signs. But I just think David Poile has no choice. He has to re-sign this guy. He didn't trade him, obviously. And the core of the team would be significantly different moving forward if they did not have Filip Forsberg. He is such an important part of that offense. Matt Duchene does not have the season he's having this year without Forsberg by his side. Ryan Johansson doesn't have a 22, 23-goal season without Forsberg. Roman Josi's incredible season tons of his assists are off of Forsberg goals, or at least Forsberg plays. I mean, he is such an integral part. David Poile has no choice but to re-sign him, and this is the important part, he has the money. He's got $25 million or over $20 million to put into re-signing Forsberg and some of the other guys they've got. And that's, part of that is because they traded away Ryan Ellis and that contract. They cut some cap here and there. They traded Victor Arvidsson. He freed up that money so he could make sure to keep Filip Forsberg around. He could be waiting for that final offer that is going to be the one that they want. He could just be holding that out to see if he can, maybe get him for a little less, but I don't think he has any choice. He has to re-sign. You can't have a situation like what happened with the Atlanta Braves and Freddie Freeman, where he just walks and then you have to go find someone to trade for. You can't have that. They've got to keep Filip Forsberg in-house.
Oh, so what's been the issue on how much he should get paid, and what do you think he should get paid? I mean, I'm assuming that's the issue, right?
Yeah, I think I've said
per
many
year.
I've said many times before. I think that on an open market, he could get $10 million a year. A lot of people think I'm crazy for that. They think he can get no more than $9 million. And then there's a lot of people that think he's even less than that. To me, I don't see it. I don't understand how people could think that a guy that's 27, that's pushing for 40 goals, could get less than $9 million. In reality, I think it's probably somewhere in between 9 and 10. But like I said, if the Los Angeles Kings go to Filip Forsberg in free agency day and say, we'll give you $10 million a year, David Poile is going to have to give him $10 million a year in order to keep him, because he's going to want to come to Nashville and stay in, he's going to want to stay in Nashville to get that, tax cut on the income tax, as opposed to going to LA and playing with his buddy Victor Arvidsson. So I don't think there's any way they can't re-sign him, but I just think he's going to have to pay money. He's going to have to give him $10 million. He's going to have to give him trade protection, just like he gave Yossi and Rene. And to anyone who thinks, there's also been this stuff about, can they pay Forsberg more than Yossi? There's no reason they can't. I mean, plenty of defensemen who are incredible at their jobs are not the highest paid player on their team.
Right.
So they're going to have to pay you have to pay forwards more. So
no doubt about it. It's always about timing on the contracts. Here, especially even in hockey. But one person whose contract is low right now, and is not as up, is the goalie, Soros. Man, what do you think about not just his play last night was incredible, but just his overall season, and or any awards you think coming his way, or potentially got a great shot of getting in the conversation?
Well, I think so. Yeah, his season's been amazing. I mean, career high 36 wins already, starting 61 games. I mean, he's probably going to start all 9 of these remaining games. I mean, maybe he'll take 1 game off, maybe 2. 68 games. That's crazy. I mean, like that's so many games for a goalie in this league today to play in. I will say though, he's dropped off out of the Vezina running. I don't think there's any way he even is a finalist at this point. I mean, I know that Igor Shesterkin, the goalie for New York, he's pretty much a shoo-in at this point. I think it's either him or probably Vasilevsky, just because Tampa always seems to be there. Maybe there's an outside chance if he gets to 40 wins, which he could do. He might be a finalist. I don't think he wins it though. I think this is not his year to win it. Just too many other good goalies out there putting up incredible performances.
On the way out, Alex Daugherty, our guest, you wrote about this fighting Preds team. Boy, they like to drop the gloves, don't they?
Oh man, it's been amazing. I wrote that today because I really felt like this is a part of this team that no one really maybe saw coming. Let me just give you a couple things. I don't know how much time we got, but let me give you one thing here. The Preds have had 7 fights in their last 4 games. There are 3 teams in the NHL that have had 7 fights all season.
Oh.
The Blue Jackets, the Stars, and there's one other team. The Predators have 55 fighting majors this year. That's the most of any team in the NHL in the last 10 years. It's double the amount of 25 other NHL teams right now. They are fighting everyone in every game, multiple times a game. They do not care. The quote, I'm not going to say the real quote just because we're on the radio, but mess around and find out really fits for this team.
Wow.
Alex, people need to go to A to Z Sports. They can read that, or just go to your Twitter. They can follow you and find it there at Alex Daugherty 1, of course, A to Z Sports. Thank you, sir, for the time today, and we'll catch up again soon as the Preds keep pushing towards the postseason.
Appreciate it, Alex.
All right. Y'all take it easy.
Yes, sir. Always great catching up with Alex. Also, if you like card collecting, sports cards, he's got a bunch of great content about that, too. That's another thing he's big into. Yes. I found my shoebox full of cards the other night. I might have to hit up Alex for some values there.